Своя край, свършва свършването.
Побъркай го той тук, побъркай го! Ляво дясно, ляво дясно! Добре. Дидо, искаме екстри! Скъсай го е, добре. Така, че готино го зарови. Няма скорост, не може да го засили. Много е накъсана вълната и го засмуква въздух. Засмуква въздух.
Става, че засмуква въздух. Доста по-здравни от кожата.
Добре. Как се задържа? Как да падаме? Да, лекичка. Във въздуха се. Как го измъртвам? Направо лучше стане. Така е.
Право, но взе ярост.
Идвам!
Технико беше то. Не се бил много. Аз миналата година 84
Не, той иска сега да се метни първо.
Gran Canaria, Gran Canaria Web Performance. Капчето. Нашия приятел.
Виж. Пътува Джетове. Като приклекнеш и...
на място завива. Може да диха много.
Скривай сега как на колена точно да направи. Формула. Гасете тока!
Това труса ми тук.
During the 10 stops of the IJSBA National Tour, one fact became very obvious, that Jeff Jacobs is the man to beat. His 8-for-10 win record in the Pro Modified class is attributed largely to talent, hard work, and a fuel-injected jet ski that proved to be unbeatable in flat water. Jeff hopes to use this momentum to carry him to his 5th consecutive World Championship at the Scat Track World Jet Ski Finals here at Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Jeff's arch rival Victor Sheldon and crew have developed their own fuel-injected jet ski to bridge the performance gap, but the combination is unproven. In contrast, number 3 in the nation, Chris Fischetti, has chosen to perfect his reliable winning combination. These top 3 Americans will be up against the best in the world, including teams from Japan, Australia, Canada, and Europe. And if they should fall, there's a host of others ready to pounce. All of this, plus the World Championships in freestyle. As today, we bring you the Scat Track World Jet Ski Finals. Welcome to the Nautical Inn Resort on the Colorado River at Lake Havasu.
The riders go through, break the beam, that starts the clock. They zigzag up through the course, turn around at the end, zigzag back, hit the beam again, shutting the clock off. What you don't see, though, is that there's a piece of framework underwater holding the buoys in position. The course is the same every single weekend on the tour, and with that in mind, Jeff Jacobs is the once again today.
Conditions right now are choppier, and today's another story.
Well, without a doubt, Dave, the times today will be much faster. The fluid water conditions allows the riders to go into the turns much harder, keep the pumps hooked up. The slalom event is a strong event for Harry Gocher. We should see a fast time from him.
Number 5 on the water right now, Harry Gocher, 21 years old, out of Las Vegas, Nevada, a former 550 slalom national and world champion.
Harry making just a couple of small mistakes, a little bit wide in the turns, but he's really keeping his momentum up, so it should be a good time.
A time of 25.06, that's nearly 2/10 faster. He moves into first place, overtakes Scott Watkins. 4th-year pro Harry Gocher in the lead right now. Let's take a look at that run one more time.
Well, here's a minor mistake from Harry. Gets a little bit low, dips the nose under in that turnaround buoy. As he comes back, you can see he's a little bit wide on the turns, a bit of a gap between himself and the buoys. That costs you time each turn, but his momentum is high.
Next up, we have Victor Sheldon. Victor qualified 4th yesterday, 400ths faster than Harry with a time of 26.91. You'll notice a totally different style on his left-hand turn, Larry.
Victor Sheldon uses what's called a leg drag turns in those left-hand turns. This acts like a rudder. It allows him to go into the turns hard, sweep the turn a little bit faster than he would if his body was in the water. There's a good shot of it there. It allows him to keep a lot of momentum.
The 1988 expert national champion, Victor Sheldon, trips the electronic beam and turns in a time of 24.81 and moves into first over Harry Gocher. Quite a surprise. The runs are faster and faster. Again, the qualifying is inverted as we take a look at Victor Sheldon and his style.
Harry is going into a right-hand turn. This is a body turn. You can see his shoulder dips down in. Coming up next will be a left-hand turn. There's that leg. You can see how it acts like a rudder. It's dragging through. It allows him to sweep through the turn at almost full throttle, where here on the right-hand turns, he's got to dip his body down in.
A quarter of a second faster he turns in, a time of 24.81. Into first place goes number 3, Victor Sheldon. The current standings, Sheldon, Gocher, Watkins, Burns, and Amoroso, barely a second, a little more than a second, separate the top 5. And the house, it's at capacity, a testament to how popular jet ski racing has become.
Yeah, it's interesting to note that this is the first year that the IJSBA has charged admission, but the crowds are as big as ever. They've filled the Nautical Inn Beach to capacity for both yesterday's qualifiers and today's finals.
Next up, we have the Australian champion, Todd Ross, from the Gold Coast. Todd qualified 3rd yesterday with a time of 26.48, and again, in rough conditions.
Well, the interesting thing to note about Todd Ross is his stance. Look at his feet. Right foot back, left foot forward on left-hand turn, and then he switches them. Left foot back, right foot forward. It takes a lot more effort, I think, but it seems to be effective for Todd. He's got a lot of speed carrying through the turns. Good slalom run.
From Brisbane, Australia, comes Todd Ross and turns in a very quick time. Todd Ross, 24.53, and he moves into first. Good showing for Todd Ross, a unique style.
Yeah, in fact, I had tried this style in my career, and I just couldn't get it to work well for me, but Todd has certainly got it figured out. He's got his right foot forward now, but there it is. He puts his right foot back for the left-hand turns. It appears to rotate his body around to have his back facing the water more so he can do a body drag both on the left and right-hand turns.
They are running in reverse order once again of fastest qualifying times to save the best for last. Here's the flying fish, Chris Fischetti out of El Cajon, California.
Fischetti appears to have adopted a bit of Victor Sheldon style with a right-hand leg drag turns and a body drag on the left-hand turns. Boy, good run for Chris. Quick turnaround buoy. He's cutting the buoys nice and tight. This is going to be a fast time.
Number 2 on his ski, Chris Fischetti, 23 years old, a 6th-year pro, and a very quick time, 24.24. And he is nearly 3/10 faster than Todd Ross.
First time, the hot time, 24-24.
As we take a look at the replay, here is where Fischetti made up all of his time, that turnaround buoy. He was in and out of that turn in no time at all. A lot of speed coming back on his return run. But that turnaround buoy, I believe, is where Chris really made up the difference.
Chris Fischetti, a crowd favorite here at Lake Havasu. In fact, a crowd favorite all over the world. But Larry, putting himself in first place, I don't think the fish is really happy with his time.
Yeah, I think Chris knows that he's going to have to get down into the 23s if he hopes to beat Jeff Jacobs, but it was a good run.
Fischetti in the lead at this point, ahead of Australian Todd Ross and Victor Sheldon. Jeff Jacobs now qualified on top yesterday with a time of 25.75, but he's capable of going much faster in smooth water. He's the world record holder at 22.48.
Jeff on the slalom course is like going to the bank and putting your ATM card in the machine. You can virtually count on him winning this event every weekend on tour. He's a master of the slalom. His style is just almost poetry in motion.
5th-year pro Jeff Jacobs going after a world record here. He moves into first. He wins the slalom title, 22.55, but does not eclipse the world record he set a couple years ago in Texas, 22.48. Nonetheless, a great job for Jeff Jacobs.
Incredible run by Jeff. There you see it, clipping that buoy there. That is the idea. The closer you get to the buoys, the faster your time is going to be. He goes into the turn so hard, so fast, and gets back out just as quick. Absolutely incredible run by Jeff Jacobs.
20-year-old Jeff Jacobs out of El Cajon, California, the 5th-year pro, wins this, the Slalom World Championship. Here are the final results, and what's amazing is Jeff Jacobs wins by over a second and a half. In the women's pro class, it was the proverbial showdown that happened all year long, but here it's one day, winner take all. The day started out with the slalom where Reagan made a flawless pass. The quickest to that point at 25.26, bettering the next competitor by 1.23 seconds. But Christy isn't one to buckle under pressure. She went out in perfect conditions and set a new world record for the women at 24.25 seconds.
The thing about Christy Carlson is that she is so smooth, and that is the key to the slalom event.
Then later came the closed course where Reagan vowed to get the whole shot. And when that plan went astray, she went to plan B.
If she makes a mistake, I'm going to be right there to take advantage.
From the line next to the Pro Superstock National Champion, Jeff Jacobs. He knew this wasn't going to be easy, but when he rounded the first buoy in front of him, the adrenaline kicked in overdose proportions. And anyone who knows Fischetti knows that the flying fish and adrenaline is a very volatile and entertaining combination.
By lap 4, Fish had managed to put a bit of distance between himself and Jacobs, but he knew better than to get a false sense of security. Though Chris had won the Pro Superstock in Chicago, Jacobs had won 6 Pro Superstock wins for the year, 4 of them in flat water.
By lap 6, Fish's lead had shrunk slightly, and a stumble over the log jump could have spelled disaster. But later that same lap, things started to sour under Jeff's hood. You can see Victor's smile right through his helmet. While things continued to go bad for Jacobs, Fischetti was having the time of his life.
On lap 11, Jacob's day took a radical turn from what he had planned when what was later found to be a twisted crankshaft took its toll. For Fish, it was just the start of what could be a dream come true.
excited as he was about the win, he was more excited to find out who got second and who modified class. He has a good shot at winning the World Championship closed course against either Chris Fischetti or Jeff Jacobs, and he's in the hunt right now.
Boy, you want tension, you want anxiety. Victor Sheldon will not have any problem getting his adrenaline up for this one.
Here we go, the World Championship closed course pro modified race. And a fantastic start by Jeff Jacobs. Whole shot by Jacobs once again.
Jacobs exploding. I thought, look at on the outside. Who is that Fischetti? It is. But look at Jacobs down that back straightaway. Unbelievable.
Leader, boat number 1, Jeff Jacobs. Boat number 2, Chris Fischetti. On the outside, boat number 5, Paul and Harry Gocher. And Harry Gocher is riding all out.
He really is. A lot of banging going on. Whoa, look at him slam into that turn. Gocher is going for it. It's only the first lap of the race, and he's letting it all hang out.
Your leader, Jeff Jacobs, got an incredible hole shot. We should take a look at that one more time.
Jeff Jacobs closest to us. Chris Fischetti way down the line due to some problems in the qualifying rounds. Jacobs launches off that line, keeps it hooked up. He's got excellent speed going down the straightaway. Fischetti, though, on the outside, I think he surprised Jeff going into the first turn buoy.
Jeff Jacobs doing what he does best, getting the hole shot, but first and foremost qualifying for the pole position. He is in the lead. Here is Victor Sheldon, boat number 3, who barely got into this race, had a 2-minute hold, and he is dead in the water right now.
Certainly disappointing for Victor Sheldon. I have been in a situation myself before. There's nothing so frustrating as to be out on that race course. Nothing you can do. It's a valiant effort by Victor Sheldon's crew, though. They just got fuel injection on the machine 2 days ago. They've been dialing the bugs out of it. Hard telling at this point what went wrong, but certainly it's got its problems.
Boat number 2 in second place is Chris Fischetti. He has thousands of fans hoping he'll win this first World Championship. Let's go to the beach side with Todd Harris.
Thanks, guys. I'm down.
In the modified class, Tim Judge, out of Florida, 27 years old, 46X on his ski, had a great national tour, winning 5 of 10 races, and he won the overall class championship.
Tim did today what he did so many times on tour this summer. As he got the hole shot, he had a very high percentage rate of getting off to a great start. But what's interesting here is on the 10th lap, Art Chambers was right on his tail after 10 laps of racing.
Art Chambers, 4th overall in the Pro X2 class on the national tour, put in a great ride.
Here's a look at Tim Judge's style, very clean and precise.
When the white flag did come out, the amazing freestyle, quite possibly the most popular form of competition, especially on the IGSBA National Tour. And here at Lake Havasu City, Arizona, thousands of fans edge to the water to watch the top pros in the world do what they do best, have fun on a jet ski. First and foremost, rules and regulations for jet ski competition in the freestyle format. 2-minute routine, scored on difficulty, precision, variety. 7 judges score 0.5 to 10 points maximum. Highs and lows are thrown out. A perfect score is 50 points. And as you can see here, they'll try anything to score points. And we will pick up the competition with this man, Chris Williams, 31 years old, out of San Mateo, California. Bulldog maneuver, and spins his ski into a 360. Good, powerful opening move for Chris Williams. 4th overall in 1990, the national tour, 4th this year. Nice 360 move from the water. Now a tail stand. Great balancing move, one-handed as well. Great control for Chris Williams. The judges sitting right off that dock in view, up on the hood cover, a 360. And pulls off 2 in a row. Wild paint job on his jet ski for Chris Williams. Williams now pops the balloon, and he goes, what happened? Well, there's another balloon out there. We'll see what happens with the second balloon. Smooth 180. Chris Williams, 185 pounds, 5'9" big guy, ex-football player. Very aggressive and innovative with his routine. Now looks to the crowd, and a little nose tap. A 180 submarine gets the crowd wet along the shore. A balancing move, a 360 in the tray. and into a tail stand. Chris Williams, competition 5 years, third-year pro. Nickname is The Crash. We haven't seen that yet. Whoa, just about. Williams with a quick 360. There, back into the crowd again, getting them wet. They seem to love it. Chris Williams, a submarine under the yellow balloon, comes up, and he's tangled with the rope that is submerged to the anchor. And you heard the announcer, 15 seconds left. He's going to have to get restarted. Not much time left to score points, and that is it for Chris Williams' 2-minute routine. But he's not going to let this balloon go to waste. There he pops it, and the smaller balloons are released. Chris Williams, the 87 regional freestyle champion, then in 88 the World Finals amateur freestyle champion, then in 1989 the pro freestyle champion here at the World Finals Lake Havasu City. Opened up strong with a full 360, a bulldog move, and scored some big points. Ended on a fun note, but did not score points for that final maneuver when the balloons were released. And his score, 46.7 for Chris Williams. That moves him into the lead. Next up, my colleague Larry Rippenkroger out of Sacramento, California. He's been jet skiing 15 years, been a pro since 1980, the 2-time overall world champion. Opens up with the Australian backwards barefoot. Spins the ski around. A tail stand, one-handed tail stand. And a flashy nosedive into a 180 up on the hood cover. Larry Rippenkroger would love to win here today. The 1989 Australian freestyle champion, 360. Back up on the hood cover he goes, one hand, 1 foot. Now 1 foot off the hood cover into a 360, pulls it off. Very creative and stylish. Larry Rippenkroger setting up for another move. One-handed submarine, and he comes up, pulls it off. Larry Rippenkroger with a new move there. And the crowd appreciates that. And now he rides 2 jet skis at once. Scoring points with this move. Larry Rippenkroger developed this a couple years back. Very difficult. Lets the one jet ski go, kills the engine. Now what's he doing? Backwards in the tray. 180, barrel roll. And he comes up facing the right way. Rippenkroger with another new move. A great routine thus far for Larry Rippenkroger, the former 2-time overall world champion and the 2-time freestyle world champion of 82 and 1989. Time running out, 180 aerial. Submarine underneath the log jump. Not a lot of height. And in turn, he can barely get underneath the log jump. Now into a tail stand, one-handed spin. Rippenkroger has 3 bilge pumps on his machine for moves like this. He goes down, takes in a lot of water, a 180 nose step, comes back up. That's the end of his routine. And I think he closed out a little weak for Larry Rippenkroger. He wanted the big move, the big height, and the big submarine. Nonetheless, a great showing for Larry Rippenkroger. Let's take a look. His 180 aerial nose stab into a submarine under the log jump. He just doesn't get the height and can barely make it underneath the log jump. A score of 46.9. Larry not happy about those last couple of moves, but a good showing. Here's Jeff Kantz, ranked number 2 on the national tour. Jeff Kantz is out of Palm Desert, California, 43X, and you'll notice he's riding an X2 machine. He's very acrobatic, a lot of moves above the water. It's hard to submerge the X2 machine like we saw Larry Rippenkroger on his regular jet ski hull. There's a good one for you. Airwalk for Jeff Kantz. Been in competition 2 years, 2nd year pro. Been on a jet ski for about 5 years. A move of zone creation, somewhat of an Australian barefoot into a full 360. Kantz really muscles his machine around, 155 pounds, stands 5'6". Jeff Kantz, the wild man, kamikaze they call him. Underneath the entire hull and back up. Jeff Kantz, 2nd in the freestyle class, 3 wins in 1991. Long Beach, Huntington, West Virginia, and Fort Myers Beach, Florida. And this machine, the X2, is especially good in the rough water, very stable. Look at that, with a twist. Headstand, twist over to the front, now a fountain possibly. Little miscue for Jeff Kent at this point. Last year here, he was 4th in the freestyle class in the World Finals. There's a barrel roll. Combination finesse and power for Jeff Kent. 180 into a tail stand. Jeff Kent, originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, now has 15 seconds to finish his routine off. Sinks the nose, and a big bounce gets the crowd wet. They love it for Jeff Kent, 32 years old, out of Palm Desert, California. And look at the acrobatics he performed. A perfect score is 50 points. And for Jeff Kent, he receives 47 points. He moves into the lead. Only 2 competitors left, Lloyd Berlew and Scott Watkins. They call him Hollywood. Scott Watkins out of Vista, California, 32 years old. The World Finals champion of last year. Let's take a closer look. He started playing golf at the age of Lloyd Berlew out of Florida, 29 years old, the amateur freestyle champion of 1990.
Lloyd Berlew opening up with a flexibility move, showing his dexterity.
Nickname is Showtime, born and raised in New Jersey, and picked up the sport of jet skiing in Florida. 2 wins in the 1991 National Tour, 2 big wins in San Diego and Chicago, and here's one of his better moves.
Backwards on the hood, a 180 spin, and also spinning himself back into the tray. That's a difficult move.
And his patented handstand, we don't see a lot of people do this, only Lloyd Berlew.
This is Lloyd's trademark. You'll see him in a lot of the magazines in that particular shot.
Always smiling, gets the crowd pumped up, a lot of contact with the judges and the audience.
That is so true. You'll see that Lloyd does put a lot of effort towards trying to get the crowd behind him, get them cheering for him, and that does seem to affect the judges' scores.
7 judges scoring 0.5 to 10 points. Perfect score is 50 points after they throw out the high and the low, and he's trying to better Jeff Kent's score of 47 points. Smooth water on the inside, close to the beach. And some fancy 180s into 360s.
The thing about those maneuvers there is there's a lot of sprays. They look spectacular. The crowd likes those. And here's Lloyd going into a tail spin.
Lloyd Berlew, last year at this location, won the World Amateur Freestyle Championship, then turned pro, won a couple of wins on the national tour, two to be exact, finished the season in 3rd. And he would love to win the World Professional Freestyle title here today. He has 2 minutes to do it.
A lot of enthusiasm there once again. Now that is a great move. Off the hood, down into the tray, and then a 360 into the tray. Powers it into a submarine. That's a nice series right there.
Less than 15 seconds for him to try to capture this, the Freestyle World Championship. His final move, a 180 nose stab into a submarine, little tail stand, and that is it for Lloyd Berlew. Again, he's trying to beat Jeff Kent with 47 points, and the crowd loved it.
Crowd definitely into it. Lloyd has got him fired up. There's a look once again at that trademark maneuver of Lloyd's, that handstand.
For the judges, well, Lloyd Berlew receives 47.4, and he takes over the lead by 0.4 of a point. He is the man to beat. Our final competitor, though, is Scott Watkins, the 1991 national champion and the 1990 world champion.
Scott starts off barefooting, spins the ski 180 degrees, rotates up on the front of it, and goes right into an Australian backwards barefoot. Those are a great series of transitional moves.
Scott Watkins, originally from Hollywood, Florida. Scott did not compete on the 1990 National Tour. He won the 1990 World Finals Championship here at Lake Havasu, then went on to win the National Tour in 1991 with 4 big wins, all in the ocean.
Scott there just completed a whole series of maneuvers, all standing on the hood. There, he powers it into a submarine. He comes up one-handed. Scott came up with that maneuver last year, and that is a really difficult move.
He's known for his ocean performances and riding the waves, but performing well here at Lake Havasu in the smooth water. Look at that.
A lot of throttle control. This goes to show you how well-rounded Scott is. There's a one-handed Bronco is what he calls that. That's another Scott Watkins invention.
Scott is smooth, fluid, having a great time. He's an ocean or rough water specialist, but he is having really a great time here in the smooth water of Lake Havasu.
Yeah, it really is. You know, you expect Scott to perform well, but probably not quite this well since he is an ocean specialist, but he is having one incredible routine right now.
A couple of new moves. There's a good one. A no-handed. Actually, he was out of the tray. An airborne jump, and he lands and does a 360. Big submarine. Near vertical entry. And a beautiful 180 dab with his foot.
This routine, Dave, has been virtually flawless. I've seen just very little bobbles whatsoever. This is close to absolutely a perfect routine thus far.
Less than 15 seconds. His final move, a one-handed submarine underneath the log jump. And that ends the 2-minute routine for Scott Watkins.
Well, that, my friend, was a world championship winning event, I believe. I hate to say it as a competitor of Scott's, but as a friend, I can say that I think that one's going to do it for him.
In '88, he won the World Finals here. In 1990, the World Championship here. It looks like he's going to defend his title. Big aerial move, no hands, comes down the tray in a 360. Pretty spectacular.
That was a brand new move. And this one here, an inverted dive. I think that's what really clinched it for him. He had a big move right at the end of his routine. Spectators are behind him. They love him.
And the judges love him. Take a look, 48.9.
A long start straightaway out into a left-hand turn, but it is a decreasing radius. As the riders go into that turn, they're going to have to use some throttle control to hang tight with the buoys. Then we go into the first right-hand turn of the course. It's a double yellow, a sweeper section, then a sharp left, then a chicane, another left over the first log jump leading into the front straightaway. Then we go into the challenging section of the race course. It's a split. The riders have the option of going to the left or to the right, and there's log jumps leading into either way. Now, it has varied from class to class, but from what I have seen, the majority of the classes have chosen the left-hand side as their preferred option, but you can go either way. For precision, you go down through the zigzag course, around a turnaround buoy, back through, breaking the timing light, and often just a hundredth of a second will separate the winners.
Jill Orton captured 4th place with a smooth run and a time of 24.70.
Karine Petrel, the French star, showed off her expertise and was awarded 3rd place in the process, finishing with a time of 24.30.
And newly crowned 1993 national champion Christy Carlson vaulted herself into the lead with a nearly flawless performance, issuing the challenge to arch rival Tara Lejo with a time of 24.01.
But Lejo, racing in front of hometown supporters, was equal to the challenge, in fact, more than equal. The number 2 finisher for the 93 U.S. title let everyone know in no uncertain terms that she intended to finish number 1 today.
So, for the first step on the way to the overall world championship, the slalom competition, Tara Lejo was a step ahead of the field. Do you have the attitude, and if so, what is it? Welcome back to Lake Havasu City, Arizona for the 13th annual Scat Track World Finals, presented by Performance Jet Ski. Today, the World Championships in personal watercraft racing. And right now, we're going to take a look at highlights of freestyle. In freestyle, competitors have 2-minute routines, and the judging criteria by 7 judges, they look for difficulty, precision, and variety. 10 points are the most you can receive from a single judge.